How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to another match review. Wolves 0, Leicester City 0, and frustrating, pretty disappointing result, to be fair. Thought Wolves played really well. Probably should have got the win, but of course we'll talk about that a bit more. Coming straight back off the winter break. Obviously the players having a bit of time off, having a bit of time in Marbella as well to do some warm weather training as a squad. We came into this game and I think you could tell that the players were a lot less tired, but you could also tell at times that they lacked that little bit of match sharpness, especially as we haven't played for a couple of weeks now. So yeah, going through the lineup, no real shocks other than, well, I say no real shocks, there was pretty two major shocks. Adama Traore and João Moutinho dropped out of the team, then Donker came into the midfield role, and Pedro Neto came into the attacking three with Jota and Jimenez, both of which had decent games, I think, so we'll talk about that a bit more. But obviously I said on the preview as well that Wolves and Leicester for me are pretty equal sides. Obviously Leicester have had that bit more consistency this year. With Wolves playing more fixtures, it's been a little bit more difficult for us to get some sort of run going. But I think on paper and on the days, Leicester and Wolves are probably two of the best teams outside the traditional top six. And I think that proved it today. I think, obviously, I don't think Leicester are at their best, but Wolves weren't firing either. So I think a 0-0 draw for a neutral probably seem fair, but for me as a slightly biased Wolves fan, we probably should have got something out of the game. First half, really, I think we let Leicester play. We let them play a lot in our half. What I noticed was that our line was actually not deep, but it was quite high, but our actual line of engagement was really low as well. So as a team, we were extremely compact, made it so difficult for Leicester to actually play. Jamie Vardy did not have a sniff all game, really, didn't trouble us at all. But they had a shot from range, which troubled Patricio at one point. But other than that, Leicester, especially in the first half, didn't really worry Wolves. They had control of the ball, knocked the ball around quite well, but other than that, didn't really have a clear-cut chance to score a goal, really. Then we come on to the major talking point of the game, Wolves actually scoring, the ball actually being in the back of the net. Now, I think Wolves, one of the most difficult things for us this season has been scoring first, scoring goals, and when we do, there always seems to be something wrong. Strangely, this week I was at the Wolves Fans Parliament meeting. It was with they were actually talking VAR with Chris Foy, an ex-Premier League referee, and the way he was obviously presenting it was a presentation talking about VAR, what it does and what it's good at. And at times during the presentation, I thought, actually, why is everyone chanting bad things about VAR? In the long run, this could be good. But then at other times, especially like today, as an actual football fan, experiencing it is, for the fans, it is killing the game. And I know some fans, maybe Leicester fans, maybe fans of other teams may watch this and think, mate, Wolves are so over the top about this. But seriously, until you know how it feels on a regular basis to be done over by virtual assistant referee, it is a real kick in between the legs. But today was annoying. Ball in from the corner, obviously played short again. I don't mind the short corners. You've got a pretty decent success rate of those. I think it was Jota and Neto. Great ball in, headed back across, and then Willy Bolly ended up scoring. Great, but even in the back of my head, I thought, I bet you there's going to be something wrong with this. Even though there was such a decent passage of play, you know, everyone celebrates, but still in the back of their mind, they're going to think, what's going to happen? And when that purple screen comes up with VAR, when they're taking 30 to 60 seconds plus to look at it and decide, I think that's when you know there's going to be a problem with the goal. And sure enough, there was. Obviously, there was a little injury, so Mike Dean was over there sorting that out, and then it got pulled back. But when you see the pictures, it looks like Pedro Neto was offside. The pass from Jota was played backwards, but Pedro Neto's leg is up in the air in a running motion, and his heel is what's offside. Please tell me where Wolves there are gaining an advantage from that move. They're on the wing, the ball's played backwards, he's running away from the goal. I don't know, and I think sometimes, obviously, offside is offside. That's it, that's the rule. But I think sometimes with VAR, when they're looking at stuff like that, I think some sort of thing with, they've got to look at it and think, is this player gaining a clear and obvious advantage? And in that case, it's not. And you've seen it across the Premier League. I'll even use an excuse from Aston Villa, where Jack Grealish's toenail or back of his heel was offside as well a few months ago. It is ridiculous on that front. And the best fact about it is, VAR this season has only got, the percentage of correct decisions have gone up by just 2%. 2% from last season. And for me, okay, yeah, 2% better off. But for me as a football fan, all the time that we're wasting, all the emotion and atmosphere that we're losing during the game, it's not worth the 2%. I'd much rather have 83% of the referee decisions correct rather than 85, which is the stat. And it's frustrating really on that point. And as I say, today's game has completely changed my mind of that. During the week, I was actually sort of leaning towards actually giving VAR time. But today it's just swung it in the complete different direction again. Stuff like that is extremely frustrating. There'll be fans and people watching this video which will say VAR's VAR, but you know. But yeah, I thought that would kill the game off completely. But second half was great, to be fair. I thought Wolves played really, really well. We showed some real hunger today. The only thing missing was that final touch. Adama came on. Obviously, gave us a bit of an outplay really, someone that we could aim for, and he did well. He ran at the defenders, made it difficult for Leicester, made them sit a little bit deeper, which allowed us to have a little bit more of the ball. I think the thing that I would have possibly done with Adama was started to get him to drift a bit more central. I think if we got him possibly even to swap with Raul at times, with Adama running at Soyuncu and Evans, we might have seen a different picture. But Adama really added something today. Podence came on. I wasn't overly convinced with him today. Obviously, I mean, I'm not going to judge him too harsh. It was like a 10-minute cameo. But just struggled to get the ball out of his feet at times. But Raul today had a couple of great opportunities, all in the air. And sometimes, you know, he's deadly. And that's what we say. Raul Jimenez is the complete striker. He can strike the ball, he can head the ball. I think he had 3 great opportunities in the air today. Most notably, I think the one towards the end of the game as well. But we kept Leicester really quiet. Obviously, they got the red card. Hamza Chowdhury's second booking in the end. I think the way both teams were really going in for the ball, I think there was going to be bookings in the game. And unfortunately for him, obviously, he got sent off, which gave Wolves that little bit of momentum, but it wasn't enough on the day. I think before the game, if someone said to me, you know, from the next 2 games against Manchester United and Leicester, you're going to take 2 points, you're not going to lose either of the games, I think I would have taken it. But both games, Manchester United, Leicester, I think we could have won. But yeah, that's football for you. Still, another game with a clean sheet, but again, another game where we've not quite found the back of the net. Promising signs for sure, can take the positives out of that game. But we move on now to the Europa League against Espanyol. I'll be back for the match preview on that during the week. Be sure to let me know your thoughts. It's always great to see what you thought of the game. By the way, man of the match for me, Ruben Neves, unbelievable today. Obviously, with the absence of Coutinho, he had a lot to live up to. But for me, he was unbelievable today. So big up to Ruben Neves. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until next time, I'll see you all very, very soon.